Hey, I wanted to take a moment to explain some things about myself. Things I didn't fully understand until recently, but now it makes a lot of sense. I spent a lot of time digging into my patterns, the way I think, feel, and act, especially in my past relationship. What I've learned is that I show a lot of traits that line up with the autism spectrum, Asperger's specifically, as well as traits of ADHD, which I never really understood a lot of these things: rejection, sensitivity, dysphoria, and some emotional regulation difficulties. But here's what it looks like for me. Um, I have social and cognitive processing differences. I'll often misunderstand indirect communication, sarcasm, or emotional cues. I can be hyper logical and literal, and I struggle when things don't add up or when I don't understand why someone did or said something. In emotionally intense situations, I either shut down or become laser focused on resolving it immediately. That urgency isn't meant to overwhelm, it's my brain going into overdrive because I can't tolerate emotional ambiguity. Emotional dysregulation and rejection sensitivity. I take emotional rejection extremely hard. Even minor signs of disconnect can feel catastrophic to me. When I feel pushed away, I panic. I might reach out too much, over explain, or try to fix things repeatedly. I didn't realize this came off as obsessive or even invasive, but in my head, it felt like I was trying to hold on to something important to me. I have hyperfixation and intensity. When I care about someone, I care deeply. My brain attaches strongly, and I can obsess over interactions, rereading texts, analyzing words, replaying events. If there's no closure or if I feel misunderstood, I can become consumed by the need to explain, fix, or be seen accurately. Misreading emotional and physical cues. I've misread romantic cues before, interpreting intensity or ambiguity as interest or desire. I thought I was matching the energy of what was wanted, but I see now I was projecting and missing the discomfort of the other person. That deeply pains me. I never meant to hurt anyone. Emotional responses to conflict. In conflict, I don't always respond calmly. I might lash out verbally, go cold, or become overbearing and trying to resolve things. Sometimes I restrain or react physically in desperation to stop things from spiraling, not out of violence, but out of loss of control. Still, I realize how harmful that can be perceived or actually be. Misaligned intentions and impact. My actions often came from a place of fear, love, or logic, but they didn't land the way I had hoped they would. I thought I was protecting, clarifying, or trying to repair, when in reality I was overwhelming, triggering, or even scaring the other person. So when I think about how these patterns play out in my relationship, I see a lot more clearly now. I see how I chased when I should have paused, how I pushed when I should have respected space, how I tried to solve pain instead of just sitting with it, how I got intense instead of being gentle, how my intentions didn't match my impact, even though I truly never meant harm. And most of all, I see that I have a lot of learning and healing to do, but I'm willing. I want to grow. I want to build safer, healthier connections, and I want to own my side of the damage I had caused, not to be forgiven, but because it's the truth. I also received a psychological detailed breakdown and how it impacted my relationship. And this is what the email says. This individual presents with a constellation of traits consistent with high-functioning autism spectrum disorder, ASD, formerly categorized as Asperger's syndrome in combination with elements of ADHD, rejection sensitivity dysphoria, RSD, and emotional dysregulation. Their responses suggest a strong preference of neurodivergent wiring, manifesting in persistent difficulties with social, emotional reciprocity, interpretation of cues, and stress coping mechanisms. Core traits and patterns identified: neurodivergent, Asperger's profile, difficulty intuitively understanding nonverbal cues, indirect language, or emotional subtext, tends to take things literally or seek logic in interpersonal matters, may misread flirtation, sarcasm, or rejection, leading to misaligned responses, deep discomfort with emotional ambiguity or unresolved conflict, rigid thinking in high stress scenarios, struggles with nuance or gray areas, intense attachment to people who matter emotionally, leading to obsessive thought patterns. ADHD-like features, hyperfocus on emotionally charged topics or people, often to the exclusion of other tasks. Difficulty with emotional regulation under pressure or in moments of perceived crisis. Rapid shifting between emotional states, shutdown to pursuit to guilt. Impulsivity and conflict resolution attempts. Reaching out repeatedly, explaining extensively. Rejection sensitivity dysphoria. Extremely heightened emotional reaction to perceived abandonment or misunderstanding. Experiences rejection as catastrophic, emotionally and cognitively overwhelming. Can become fixated on repairing situations to restore connection or correct the narrative. Emotional regulation challenges, difficulty maintaining intense emotional surges like panic or desperation, may lash out verbally or respond with controlling behaviors when overwhelmed, tendency to shut down, become emotionally rigid, or disassociate in overload. Uses reasoning and fixing as a coping mechanism rather than emotional attunement. Trauma and internalized misunderstanding, long-standing pattern of being misunderstood and misperceiving others, tends to internalize blame or obsess over what went wrong. Struggles to align intent with external impact, especially under pressure. Relationship-specific manifestations, misinterpretation of emotional and physical cues, believe that the partner wanted a more intense or dominant energy based on mixed cues, responded with behaviors meant to align with perceived desire but misread her actual comfort. Physical restraint, emotional outbursts, and hyperfocus on fixing were misinterpreted by the partner as abusive or dangerous, though the intention was often desperation and confusion, not malice. Emotional escalation and panic under disconnection. In the face of rejection, the individual enters a heightened emotional state, tries to repair or force understanding, often through repeated communication, fixates on getting closure or correcting the narrative, leading to perceived stalking behaviors, lacks awareness in real time of how these attempts are experienced by the other person. Inability to respect boundaries and high emotion states, struggles to pause or respect space when overwhelmed, not due to intentional disrespect, but due to panic, fear of being misunderstood, and loss of control over actions. Once the emotional situation triggers, impulse overrides social awareness. Rigid narratives and logical reframing, attempts to explain, analyze, and prove truth instead of validating the partner's emotional experience, lacks natural ability to just hold space or apologize without needing to defend perspective, often unintentionally invalidates the partner by over explaining instead of empathizing. And a summary statement is this individual likely falls on the autism spectrum, exhibits ADHD tendencies, and experiences rejection and emotional stress more intensively than neurotypical individuals. They struggle with boundaries, emotional attunement, and interpreting complex social and romantic dynamics, not out of malice but due to wiring, fear, and confusion. Their intense emotional drive to fix, be understood, and preserve connection often overrides logic and boundaries in ways that become harmful, even though they don't perceive them as such in the moment. And then I had a overview of like everything that I talked about with them, with Natasha. Perception of love as weakness or dysfunction, how intensity was misread, the depth of love and emotional investment shown towards Natasha, while genuine, may have been perceived as by her as obsession, dependence, or control. The intense need for repair, clarity, and connection, though driven by neurodivergent emotional processing style, could have looked like emotional instability or desperation. Efforts that were meant as affection, care, or passion, like repeatedly reaching out, explaining, or physically trying to calm her, may have crossed emotional or physical boundaries in ways that led her to question if the love was truly safe or healthy. Emotional dependency misinterpreted as control. The neurodivergent struggles to cope with emotional loss or ambiguity can look like possessiveness or codependency, especially in romantic dynamics. Because of difficulty self-regulating, the bond formed with her may have seemed overwhelming or smothering from her point of view, even if it came from a place of loyalty and love. This often leads others to view the individual as emotionally immature, manipulative, or even abusive, when in reality, the person is simply dysregulated, terrified of loss, and unable to process detachment like a neurotypical partner. Love versus capacity to love. The partner may have started to doubt whether the love expressed was healthy or if the individual was even capable of loving the way she needed. She may have mistaken his emotional confusion, shutdowns, or misaligned actions as a lack of emotional intelligence or empathy, when in truth the emotional depth was there, just not communicated in ways she could recognize or trust. In times where she needed empathy, space, or safety, the individual was focused on fixing, explaining, and emotionally reconnecting, unintentionally bypassing what she needed in the moment. How that impacted her view of him. Over time, these patterns could have led Natasha to see the love as conditional, unsafe, or immature, even though the feelings were deeply sincere. I'm having trouble reading this, but even though the feelings were deeply sincere, his reactions may have been interpreted as selfish, manipulative, or reactive instead of vulnerable, especially if she had her own trauma or sensitivity to controlling behavior. Ultimately, the depth of love he carried may have looked like dysfunction, which could feel invalidating, like he wasn't capable of loving her in a healthy way despite truly wanting to. Though the love he felt was deep and sincere, it was expressed through dysregulated neurodivergent behaviors that, while well-intentioned, were misinterpreted as weakness, obsession, or even incapacity to love, causing the relationship to collapse under the weight of miscommunication and emotional neglect. What really sucks is I don't want to die. But I don't know what to do. And the one person that could save me is terrified of me. I misread so many things as encouragement for me to keep going, and now it's made things so much worse for myself. When originally I was already facing something that was painting me in such a horrible way that I knew I could beat, and now all of this is like, it just fucks up my character profile entirely. And she's the only one that could save me. That power is crazy. To literally have someone's life in the palm of your hands and not even realize what contributed to things being the way they were. Not that it even matters. I care a lot about her and how she feels. I wish I could have made it right. I've tried to give my life to God recently, and it's crazy how I do get these blessings and miracles. I don't know, it sucks. It sucks that it took all of this for me to realize what was going on. I think I would have realized everything without legalities and stuff. I pushed away everybody. I need a miracle. By the time any of you see this, I don't know. I plan on making one big playlist and making it public of all the videos, how evident it was that I was autistic and I didn't even realize it at the time, and how I did love her. She was amazing, but I'm not like trying to hold on to her. I just appreciate the time that I had with her in my life. And I hate that I squandered opportunities for us to get closer and have her see how much I really did understand her. I was just having problems processing or showing her how much I understood, and that my own thoughts would make it hard for me to showcase that for her. I think we just needed to talk about things, and I thought space between us could have been great. And instead of leaving it like that, I took signs that she wanted me to press, even though that wasn't what she wanted. In my head, I didn't see it. And now she's taken actions to like prevent. I don't know. It could all change. I don't know. I just have to continue to try to be the best person I can and understand how my thoughts can influence what happens. And so I have to consciously recognize what I'm prone to do and not do it, or communicate it effectively so that I can find ways around it, and probably talk to someone regularly to help maintain and implement better strategies. I wish I could have done that with her. I wanted to change. I wanted to be the best I could for her. I wish she knew. I recently read this book called Crime and Punishment that she had put in our notes, and I wish I had read it sooner. But there's a part that about Sonia's influence, and it's like love is a powerful thing. Love and compassion can like transform a soul more than punishment ever could. It sucks that I destroyed, like, because rationally I knew that I should have backed away. And, like, that's what I had always done before, but I'd never cared about someone as much as I did her, which caused more problems than anything, because if I would have just backed off, it's like I knew what to do, but in the moments, it's like I couldn't think about anything else. Like, I felt like her and I needed to talk, and that she needed to see what I was really learning and what I really felt. And I definitely made mistakes, and I did things that I shouldn't have done. And I just wanted her to understand that it was never because I didn't love her, but because I was struggling to love her. And it terrified me, and then it led to me losing her, and I wanted to make it right. I wanted her to see my actions as brave and risk-taking, and that I'd do anything for her, no matter what. And it just sucks that I didn't really realize what was going on. It's like the moment I had left the last courtroom thing with her, that's when I realized what was going on. And I knew that I had like some type of processing or some type of emotional and mental disorder. And so I started trying to seek help, because the whole time I thought that it wasn't what she wanted. Like, in my head, I genuinely thought that there was something I needed to do, and that she loved me, but she was scared of how things were presented and didn't think that I could make things better. And if I had known all of this earlier, in the heat of the moment, or expressing it to my partner, I could have avoided these things, or at least known that, hey, this is what I'm prone to do, and I can't do that. I wish I had the opportunity to fix it, but I don't. And the most powerful thing I can do now is make sure she feels safe, and just is prepared to endure whatever happens with me. Because she was so incredible that, like, even now at a random spontaneous moment, she could change everything. But she doesn't have the understanding because of me, and she's scared. And that sucks the most, when like someone you really, really care about is scared of you. And I was having like so many problems that just all fell into my lap at once. And she was the closest thing I had. And I would have done anything to protect her. But I can't do anything, you know. If I had known that she didn't want me or didn't love me anymore, I probably could have let go. But it's like, without it being stated clearly and knowing that her mom was involved, I felt like that there was misunderstandings and things that I needed to clear up, or things that I needed to prove. and I hyper focused on it. And in doing so, I lost like real time realization of what I was doing or how I was doing it or how it could impact the person or how it could have made her feel. And that sucks because even though I did things that can make her feel like I didn't love her, I loved her more than she could even understand, and I couldn't even understand it. I just know for a fact I would have done anything to make things right. 'Cause she was incredible. I just want her to be happy. I want her to feel safe from me and know that I'm growing and I'm changing and I'm realizing a lot of things, and I did love her. But I made it hard for her to love me, and I accept that. It sucks, but it's okay. I'll get through it, I think. I think more than anything, I really just wanted her and I to talk, not because of getting back together, but I wanted her to understand what was going through my head and what I felt, and understand why things went wrong and why it was hard for me to go about certain things in certain ways, and really understand me. Not to get back with her or anything like that, but because she meant a lot to me, and I wanted her to at least have a clear picture of what happened between us and what went wrong and why it went wrong. But me pressing so much prevented that. And that sucks. I wish I knew what happened from the moment of her liking the video to get access around the 5th or something. And then I guess she filed the restraining order on the 10th. So what did I do in between talking to her on the phone? I tried to warn her about the detective thing. Tried to let her know it was safe to talk to me because I felt like she thought she couldn't talk to me, but she actually wanted to, which I guess she didn't. I didn't know. I should have known. But in the moment, I didn't see it at all. I thought I was like fighting for something. Something she wanted, but I had to prove. I had to make up for. I had to go above and beyond in ways I never would have. Well, I didn't for anybody else, but she was so different. I was so bad at showing her how much I loved her, but I didn't want her to ever think that it meant I would harm her or try to hurt her or try to do anything to bring her down. I wish I had known the things that I know now, but I've said that throughout this process, but now I actually know. It doesn't give an excuse for things that have happened, but it helps see what factored into it. And I think I could have prevented things more if I had known what my mind is like going to go to, or what it meant that it was going there, and how I would overlook boundaries or not see something that should be obvious, or should be obvious how it was scary, or should be obvious how I shouldn't do that, or how it would be the wrong thing to do. Especially since I had took it as some sign that in the beginning, at some point, she had watched that video that she sang to me, that Lil Uzi Vert Patient song. And it said, "I don't think you really in love with me now." And then it was titled Patience. So I tried to just be patient, and then around Valentine's Day I wanted to reach out. Then I wrote all that stuff for her that was really trying to just express how like I was determined to do better, that I was gonna work towards doing better at all costs, no matter what, that I would not fail, and that I had saw how I should have handled a lot of situations. I think I was on the right track the whole time, and I've like learned these things myself rather than learning them with her. But it sucks that through the process I made her see things a certain way that in my head they never were. Like I never meant for it to be that way. Now that I understand it more, I wish I could have communicated that more, because she was always trying to fit me into a box of like some psycho killer or something because of her fears, and that's just what she was into. And then of course there's all this stuff about killers and stuff all the time, and then we watch stuff like that, so it's like I didn't really realize what like stalking, like I knew what it was, but I never really put a lot of thought into it, or like what it was, or how it could be scary. I would take it as like just some type of joke thing someone would call somebody when they like were around someone too much or something, or they watched them and tried to analyze, which I guess that is, but I didn't really understand it. And now I can see how that would make her scared. In my head, I thought I was being like a hero, like I was showing her, and that I would like take any chance or any risk to show her how much I meant what I was saying. And so I thought there was like something for me to prove. I think the biggest thing that messed me up because of my autism and understanding it more now is genuinely that when she sent the text, her and my family were telling me that her mom had to influence that there's no way that that's what she wanted. And so I took all that and was like, okay, I have to fight for this. I have to show her how much I care about her. I have to figure out the best way and like calculate to do everything I can to fix this. Because I thought that's what she wanted, that we had something special. But I didn't realize that in my pursuit of solving the problem or calculating whatever, finding the perfect thing, I never factored in how much doing nothing, like I saw doing nothing as like you either do everything to work it out or you don't. And now I realize that not doing anything is part of doing everything. Like that's part of, so I can basically stand back and not let my thoughts like dictate what I'm gonna do in a social situation, in a, especially in a romantic relationship or with someone I really care about. Because it was always more than just me not thinking about my actions and how I was like making people misunderstand me or whatever. Because the truth is, I can't see that. Like it is a problem that I, like it is part of my autism. Like I won't get it unless it's like straight to me, or like I have to learn to quiet my mind and maybe mask more and do what other people do. But I don't know, it sucks that I'm being treated And did I seem like some killer or something, though? When violence towards others was definitely not on my mind at all, especially with losing Lance. I think about him daily, at least a couple times during every part of the day. Maybe. I miss him so much, and I lost him focusing on this problem with her. Instead of I think I was starting to back off, and then it's like God presented these things to me this way. And I'm continuing to learn lessons, but my greatest lesson now is just showing that I can stand back and do nothing. I appreciate life so much. I don't want to die, but I don't know how to get through all this. I guess trust in God, but I don't know if I need to put myself in like a mental institution. What really sucks is she knew me. Clearly not in all the ways, because she expects me to be dangerous, and she thinks there's so many things there that we need to talk about, but that's irrelevant to the point. The point is she'd be able to help me pinpoint these things. I've spoken to psychologists and stuff lately, and I have a couple things, but a lot of it is with like social cues and needing something to be like clear, or like if I get put on a problem, I have to solve it. Like I even joked about that with, like, she knew that about me. Like if I came up, like if something was missing or I needed to find something or there was something that needs to be done, I would like try to make sure it was done. And I got stuck on so many things. And then the times where I would always tell her, oh, I was so caught up in my head. I should have, that was like my sign. That was basically me giving a sign to myself saying, hey, like, you know, go get help. Like, while you still have time, like, fix this really quickly. I wish I had been diagnosed earlier in life, because meeting her was a miracle. And I think it set off so many, like I was never emotional before I met her. Like I was kind of shut off and just like didn't really get upset or anything, or angry, or like nothing. I don't think I got angry a lot with her, but my anxiety would flare up. But I definitely got sadder, like not towards her or anything that she was doing, but I would like confront things. Through talking to her, it would lead me to things I needed to learn or discover. And I was trying to unload and get through all of that because I wanted to be the best version I could for her. That was always my intentions. I would have done anything to protect her. Anything. Like, if there was ever an ultimatum, and her like safety would always be above mine. Yet she thinks I would hurt her. It's crazy to love someone this much and them not know it at all. I hope she's happy, and I hope she finds someone that will always be there for her and love her the ways I knew I could, but I wish she understood how my mind worked the whole time and how much I struggled, like, to get through and push for her and do the right thing. And I was trying my best. It wasn't the best choices, but in my way, I was trying the best. And that trying should have been directed in other ways, like me getting us help sooner or seeking help from myself. What I had with her was so special. And it's okay that I lost that. I just hate that I lost it in such a horrible ending when a conversation could have prevented everything. But me pushing it made that not happen. All because in my head I convinced myself that I had to work out the problem. I feel so sorry for her, from what I took away from her, and what I could have gave her. She deserved everything and I would have done it. And she doesn't even realize how much that would affect somebody. Fixation, and I genuinely felt like she was like leaving me breadcrumbs and wasn't giving me a straight answer, and I thought that her mom pretty much influenced the entire situation. Like, it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for her mom. I didn't realize how much like my autism affected my entire life. I I thought would never like calculate or meticulously or maliciously do anything. Like, never. I might handle a situation badly or push and persist, but it was never like anger, revenge, like, fuck you, you did this to nothing like that. Like, I was never like that type of hostile. It was very reactive because my anxiety would just fucking, I would freak out because I cared so much about this person and I didn't know how to handle it. Like, I didn't know what to do. Using her, like, things letting me know what she needed because I was focused on like a clear, like I needed, like, unless it was said, it didn't exist or something. So late. And I worked so hard just for a conversation for her to see and tell how my train of thought was different. But in doing so, my persistence and my like continued acts of trying to do what she needed to know that I sincerely apologized and that I truly was committed to being better and that I just needed the opportunity to show that, and that if she didn't want me, it was fine. But I think I should have said that more, because since I didn't, it just made it look like I was persistent on the relationship, even though I kept saying that I wasn't like doing anything for a relationship. I just wanted her to either understand me or like us to have a conversation, just get it out and be done. I went through so many things, like obsessive over needing to figure out what was going on or solve the problem or realize what I was doing wrong and how to be better, or get on a path to be better. And it scared the fuck out of her, because I was like going by her like apartment and stuff, and just telling myself that I would pick up some type of sign, or I would be able to solve it somehow. And I looked into that, and that's like, when you really learn about Asperger's, and especially through something like ChatGPT, where it will go through all the online articles, and I fit into everything. And so I felt like, do I put myself in a mental institution? Because I don't know really how that works. And what sucks is she does. Like, she'd be the person that could help me the most in this situation and put me on track, regardless of her. Just her as a person, how, whatever, I don't know what it is with that person, but there's something, and I, like, she's so scared of me though, and she doesn't get it. And I'm steadily like understanding things as they come now. Like, I truly didn't even realize that she didn't want any of this and that she was completely done until court. When I was leaving court, I was like, okay, I just completely fucked up, because it wasn't them pushing her. Like, she didn't want this, pushed it. And I didn't even realize I was doing that. Like, the whole time I just thought it was some type of game or test that she was like putting me through, because of how our arguments and our breakups were. And she needed me to like really know that I was going to get it right. And regardless of the relationship, just as a person. And I valued her so much as a person, and now she's going to think back on all of this negatively and think I was psycho, crazy, and never really understand. Because there's so much to this. And we needed to talk so badly, and me pushing that created so many more. It just, my persistence and fixation to solve a problem, on top of caring about somebody so much, and then the accusations against me. And then I lost Lance of almost 20 years. It's like 18, 19, 20. I don't even know at this point. I guess it would be almost 20 years. I understand things so much better now. Yet I don't know what to do. Because I've realized I haven't doing well, a person that I scared the fuck out of because of my train of thought, and I don't know what to do. everything falls on her. And if only we were talking, I could show her these. She was so focused on me trying to be some killer that she didn't. We both did so many things and could have helped each other in so many ways. But I thought that it was like over. Me not. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I know I would never hurt her. I've scared her so badly. Something's wrong with me. I don't deserve to be in prison though. I'm not trying to harm anybody. I'm just trying to. I don't know what to do. Cared in some way that she was like fighting against it or trying to leave me signs. But she wasn't. She was probably, instead, she was probably thinking that it would like. And the big question is how, if all of this just. I'll never push again. But I'm 35. I don't need to go to prison for this. I need to get my life together and build better, like, relationships with people. I do believe I try to be, and my thoughts are always positive, well-intended, to suggest or make me believe that I would consider myself a good person. But I think how I go about things and my actions and how I tend to misrepresent myself make me look like a bad person. And my issue is I get so focused on what I'm thinking that I don't even realize. So maybe I'm not a good person. Because I think so much on something that I miss social cues and conversational things unless they're like straight up said. And I'll push things or try to get a clear answer, or I'll ramble on something and go over the point over and over. Like some certain thing has to be said for it to be done. I don't know what to do anymore now, though. There's so much I wish I could say to her if we just spoke and everything. That would have fixed everything, but if I had known she didn't love me anymore, didn't care regardless, didn't care about me at all, I wouldn't have pushed. But I'd never heard it directly from her, even on our what had happened. She didn't seem like she didn't like me. I hyper focused on, do I get her stuff back? Do I leave it alone? Should I leave her a note about getting her stuff back? And I'd go there and like fucking think about it. Or consider if I should, or feel like I'm gonna pick up some sign if I should or shouldn't. It's fucking crazy. I have to learn to let things be. And then I wouldn't do any of that. As I'm sure she did, other than hating me and continuing to be contacted indirectly, I guess. But it was on my YouTube, watching this stuff. I don't get it. It sucks. There are many things that I wish I could confess to her and talk to her about and own up to. I just wish she saw me and remembered the good times that we had and not be so confused by all these things and the things that attributed to them. I don't think there would ever be a day that she wouldn't call upon me and I would be there, no matter what. But I would handle so many things differently. I wish she knew just how much I care and how much I would do. That all of this sculpted something that I could present to her and have her feel it, and that I would do everything possible to prevent patterns and mistakes that I had made. I just want her to be happy, though. That matters most. If she can't take the chance for me to see that, then I can't impose it. I just have to be here when she needs me and learn from these mistakes and show her. I don't think that can happen right now from anything that I do. So I pray that God blesses me and that I get on the right track. Because I could do so much good. All the autistic things and tendencies that I have can be presented in very helpful and positive ways if I knew how to manage it. I just don't want her to be scared of me anymore. And I hope that she finds forgiveness and understanding, or at least remembers how much I cared about her, even though I made it hard for her to see it. I hope one day she can look back and see these things differently. I've always knew that she would, but the things that she's doing right now, she won't be able to come back from if she goes through with it. And that hurts, but I've prevented her from seeing just how capable and the potential of everything within me that I could provide to her. But this has been the story, and this is I'm gonna upload this and think about everything for a while. But if something does end up happening, I'm just gonna upload all of this, and I hope that my story helps someone at least understand how you can ruin something that loving someone and caring about someone. If you go about things badly, you can destroy it. Doesn't matter how sacred, how special. And then the potential for it to be saved or for clarity to come comes from that person, not from you. Because at this time, I wish I could just replay moments that I had with her. But I know she has her own internal struggles and things and psychological things too. So I hope if this is ever out there that she understands. I just wish I had the opportunity to tell her straight before I didn't. But I don't know. But I hope this helps someone. And I hope for peace and for people to love the ones that they have while they have them. Because I've experienced so much loss in this that I'd give anything to go back. Because there's no time to think about what we'll do one day or what we won't do. We only have one choice, and she could save my life. She could save my life.